Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into how AI is learning to understand fashion. And I don't just mean data points and inventory. I'm talking about style, a language, a feeling. It's this quest to build a true digital stylist. All right, let's dive right in. We're going to start with a problem that I'm willing to bet you know all too well. You're shopping online, right? You've got this very specific vibe in your head, and you try to type that vibe into a search bar. And yeah, it usually just falls completely flat. So you might type in something just like this, and in your head, the image is crystal clear, right? You can see the crisp shoulder, the sharp tailoring. But for most online stores, that kind of nuanced language, it's pretty much gibberish. And this slide, wow, it just lays out that huge disconnect perfectly. On one side, you have us, right? We shop with feelings, with ideas. We want a quiet luxury vibe or a top that balances wide leg pants. But the computer on the other side of the screen, it sees a SKU number, a generic category like top, a couple of vague tags. It's like we're speaking two completely different languages. So why is this so frustrating? Well, it's because the data behind the scenes is, let's be honest, it's a total mess. You'll have one person tag a color as ivory, and someone else calls the exact same shade ecru. Relaxed fit could mean three totally different things. And all this inconsistency means that the filters and search bars we rely on are just really blunt tools, only as smart as the messy data somebody happened to type in ages ago. So this is like the billion-dollar question for the entire fashion industry. How do you fix this mess? And the answer isn't just, hiring more people to type in more tags. The real solution is to teach AI to stop reading the spreadsheet and start actually seeing the clothes, the way a human stylist does. And that brings us to this really cool new idea, multimodal merchandising. Now, the key word here is multimodal. It just means the AI is looking at different kinds of information at the same time, in this case, images and text, together. So instead of just reading a flawed tag that says ivory, the AI can look right at the photo and see for itself, directly from the pixels. And the end game here, which you see laid out in academic research, is to build a true AI-powered fashion advisor. And just to be clear, this is so much more than a better search engine. We're talking about a system that can give you personalized, genuinely helpful styling advice. So how does this actually work? Well, you can think of it like a pipeline that turns all that chaos into clarity. First, the AI just sucks in all the product images and that messy data we talked about. Then, here's the magic part. It extracts the visual features directly from the pixels. After that, it maps those features into a consistent, standardized fashion language. And finally, it uses that new, clean intelligence to power recommendations that, actually work. So what can this new kind of AI actually see? Honestly, an incredible amount of detail. We're talking about telling the difference between an A-line and a wide leg silhouette, understanding drape versus structure, is it flowy or is it rigid? It can even see things like the neckline shape, sleeve volume, or how shiny a fabric is. These are all those tiny, subtle things a great stylist picks up on instantly, but have been pretty much impossible to tag at scale, until now. Okay, so just being able to identify all those attributes is a huge leap forward. Huge! But what if we could take it even further? What if an AI could go beyond just, the physical facts of a garment and start to understand something way more abstract, more human? Something like taste? And this slide really gets to the heart of this massive shift. The old way, that's what you see up top, it was basically a fancy game of match the picture. You'd show the AI a blazer, and it would just scan its database for things with similar pixels. It was all about finding things that looked alike. But now, look at the new way on the bottom. It's not just matching. It uses a powerful MLLM, that's a multimodal large language model, to do something called aesthetic reasoning before it even starts searching. It thinks first, and then it finds. And hey, this isn't just a theory. There's a groundbreaking model called Tattoo that's already doing this. And what's so wild about it is that it's training-free. Think about that. It doesn't need to be painstakingly, expensively trained on millions of specially labeled fashion photos. Instead, it just taps into the huge amount of knowledge that's already inside a big MLM to understand style right out of the box. So that term I just mentioned, aesthetic reasoning, that is the absolute key here. This is the moment the AI stops acting like a database and starts acting like a stylist. It looks at an outfit and it thinks step by step. Okay, what are the colors? What's the overall style? What's the occasion? What about the materials, the balance? It actually builds a whole aesthetic profile, just like a person would, before it even thinks about making a recommendation. Okay, now this is really cool. On this slide, you can literally see the AI's thought process. So let's just walk through it. The AI looks at the blazer, the pants, the bag, the shoes. Then it generates what the researchers call aesthetic thoughts. It's noting the colors, identifying the style as minimalist and chic. It's even thinking about the materials and decides that a cotton texture would be a really nice contrast to the shiny suit. And it's only after all of that thinking that it concludes, okay, the perfect missing piece here is a white cotton t-shirt. I mean, this is incredible stuff, right? But what does this level of AI reasoning actually look like in practice, as a real shopping experience? Let's take a look and see how it all comes together. Just look at how specific this is. In that first example, the AI doesn't just go, find a necklace. No, it thinks about the whole vibe of the outfit and comes up with a target description, a silver snowflake pendant necklace. And only then does it go search the inventory for things that match that very specific, reasoned out idea. It's not random, it's intentional, it's aesthetic, and it's just incredibly smart. And you know what? The results totally back this up. This new training-free approach is actually more effective. On a key industry benchmark, the tattoo model flat out beat the previous best model, a model that needed all that expensive time-consuming training. So this isn't just a smarter AI, it's a more accessible one. It means this kind of deep style intelligence could be used by pretty much any brand, not just the huge tech giants. So what this technology really does is finally bridge that huge gap between a human stylist's creative intuition and the massive scale of e-commerce. It's promising a future where online shopping might actually understand us. But as this AI gets better and better, as it starts to not just suggest things but maybe even shape our choices, it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question for the future. When your personal stylist is an algorithm, who or what is really deciding what's in style?